Hey guys, welcome to the second part of this Q&A. I actually didn't realize that I was going to do two parts, but I thought, what the hell, I'll answer all the questions on Twitter, and then I'll pick a couple from YouTube to answer in a second part. So, if you did miss out on the Twitter questions, if you asked your question on Twitter, or if your question didn't get answered, maybe it's because it was on Twitter, then go ahead and check that one out. It's a pretty long one. It's like 15 minutes. This one's going to be a bit shorter because I'm not going to be answering every question on YouTube. I told you guys, Twitter ads have priority. And of course, if you do want to follow me on Twitter, it is always in the links in the description. But let's get into the questions. GFL Knows asks, what is your favorite team to do a career mode with? Now, I don't actually have a specific team because I don't usually do the same team more than once, at most twice, in the same FIFA, because I think that gets a bit repetitive. But I'll give you the type of teams I like to do career modes with. I like to just switch it up, try some different leagues that I've never done. The Dutch League, the Portuguese League. You know, I like European leagues because they have the Champions League, so even something like a Belgian league I don't mind sometimes. I remember doing a Circle Bruges career mode instead of a Club Bruges one because I wanted to see what some of the not bad, but like the worst teams in Belgium did. But yeah, sort of teams that aren't fighting for the title. I absolutely love Serie A career modes. I mean, I think that is the best league to do it in, because think about how many teams are competing for those Champions League spots. You got Roma, you got Lazio, you got Inter, you got AC, Fiorentina, Napoli. I'm definitely forgetting someone. Definitely. There's so many teams fighting for those European spots. Obviously Juventus, but I'm talking about the other two teams that would join them. Oh, I definitely am forgetting one. I have a feeling I am. So, I mean, there's just so many teams in Serie A that can contend. You know, I think I've done an Inter, an AC. I'm currently just in my personal time playing a Lazio career mode. I've done a Roma one before. I've done Fiorentina. They're all really, really fun to do because it's just such a competitive league in FIFA. In real life, it is a bit boring nowadays, but in FIFA, it's such a competitive league. As far as the Premier League, I like to do like an Everton or a Spurs, something like that, and try and push for the Champions League. I like a challenge. So that's pretty much what I like in my career mode team. The SO Games asks, who is your favourite Manchester United signing so far? Mine is between Damian and Depay, for we needed a decent right back. Man, that is difficult. I like all of them. I very much indeed like all of them. Wow, to pick one is a bit difficult. I think I'd say Schneiderlin. I think I'd have to pick Schneiderlin just because he's Premier League proven and he's a boss. And I think he could have gone to a couple of the big clubs in the Premier League, but we were able to scoop him up, which I think is really good. Also, I think he's incredibly talented and can replace Carrick as a defensive midfielder. He's got the brain for it. He's got the physical side of the game as well. I think his mental side is a bit weaker than Carrick, but I'm sure he'll surpass him. So I think Schneiderlin is a real quality signing, especially for the next 5 years as well. At Alfie Davies asks, which FIFA did you start on? I started playing FIFA on, I think it is the very first FIFA ever made, and that is FIFA 64 for the Nintendo 64. It was made in, I think, 96 or 97, or could have been 98, but if it was 96, then it was before FIFA 97, so I don't know if it's older than FIFA 97 or not, but that was the first FIFA game I played. It was actually called FIFA 64 for the Nintendo 64, and it was a really, really fun game back in the day. I played many hours. The ratings on that game are nuts. Like, Beckham is at Manchester United and he's rated like 90-something. It's like the ratings are whacked out. Like, I love going back and seeing like Gary Neville and Giggs and stuff like that. It's so, so cool. I went back and looked at it like a couple months ago, like 5-6 months ago. And man, like, the ratings are so weird, and it's just to see all the players that were playing around then and the ratings they would have had. It's really cool to see. That was the first FIFA I played, and then because I had a Nintendo 64, sorry, for so long in my life until I got a PS2. The next game I got was FIFA 08, and that was really when I got. And that since then I've had every single FIFA. So I guess as far as regular games, FIFA 08, but the first one I had was FIFA 64, which was a fucking incredible game. Llama Boy 283 asks, what team do you think will win the Barclays Premier League in the 2015-16 season? I think it's a toss-up at this point. It depends on Chelsea. It depends on whether Chelsea makes signings or not. If they bring in 1 or 2 good players, you got to say Chelsea again. But at the moment, I'd like to say Manchester United. I think we have a chance. I think Arsenal definitely have a chance, especially with their 1-0 win against Chelsea. And if they bring in a couple of good players, it all depends on the rest of the transfer window. I can't really make a judgment call right now. I think at the end of the day, it comes down to Chelsea, United, Arsenal, and City. I think those are the only 4 teams that can win it. I don't think Liverpool have made the right signings, not just because I'm a Manchester United fan. I don't think Liverpool have made the right signings to win the league. I think they've made signings to try and retain where they're at and maybe push for Champions League. So they haven't bought really league-winning players. We've bought Schweinsteiger, we've bought Schneiderlin, we've bought Depay. Those are winning, league-winning players. Not necessarily Schneiderlin, but Schweinsteiger and Depay especially have won their leagues before in their countries. So, yeah, I think that's where I'd say it's either Chelsea, United, or Arsenal. I don't think City can, but they definitely have a chance. Jared HD asks, plans for FIFA 16? Thank you for the question, Jared. Yes, I do have plans of doing FIFA 16 videos. No, in all seriousness, FIFA 16, I said this on the Twitter one, but I'm going to answer this question again just because it's Jared, and he's an absolute legend. If you don't know who he is, I don't know what you're doing with your life, go check him out. He's in, like, the related channels in my channel page. Also, you can just type Jared HD. But plans for FIFA 16, I said it in my Q&A on the Twitter one. I do want to bring Ultimate Team to the channel, and the only reason I'm answering this question twice is because I know a bunch of you probably won't watch the Q&A on the Twitter one and probably didn't hear me say it, so I'm going to say it again. I do have plans of bringing Ultimate Team to the channel, so I don't know what you guys think of it. Of course, let me know. I want to think of an original and new idea to bring it to the channel. It's not going to be something where I'm going to build an amazing team. It's going to be something where I'm really going to grind up, and it's going to be in the perspective of, like, an average viewer's what they would go through without buying coins. I might buy points just to open packs, but that's pretty much it. I don't want it to be too costly, but I want it to be an original series, an original idea. If you guys want Ultimate Team, let me know down in the comments. And if you're not a big Ultimate Team fan, of course, also let me know in the comments, because I want to know what kind of career mode fans I have, because some people play both, and some people just play career mode. Like, all my life, I've just played career mode. So let me know in the comments, are you a person who would like to see Ultimate Team? Benjamin Coleman asks, what is your favorite team from each of the big 5 leagues? France, England, Spain, Italy, Germany. Okay, England is Manchester United, that's pretty good, and they're the only ones that I would class myself as a fan. As far as the other leagues, I do watch, when I can, I do watch the German, Italian, and Spanish leagues, mainly the German and Italian leagues. The French league, I don't really watch. So as far as the French league, I'd say Lyon. I've always been a pretty big Lyon, not fan, but I've always liked Lyon. I think they had Lloris, which back when he played for Lyon, I was a big fan of Lloris. I still am a big fan of Lloris. I think he's a very good goalkeeper. From Spain, I don't know, because I don't want to necessarily pin myself to Barcelona or Real Madrid, because I don't want to be in that sort of battle, but I've always considered myself a Barcelona fan. I've got a Messi top in the cupboard since, a couple of years now. I've always just sort of gravitated towards Barca a bit more, as far as Barca versus Real. And I honestly, I wouldn't want to say like Atletico or Valencia. Although Valencia, bear in mind, I actually really did enjoy back in the days where they had like Mata and David Silva. That generation of Valencia was freaking insane. They had so much talent in that team. But as far as Spain, I'd have to say Barca. Italy, I'd have to say Inter Milan. I think I've always been an Inter Milan kind of guy. Especially in my younger days, I love the blue and black. I really like that color scheme. I'm surprised I'm not an AC Milan fan because of the amount of players they've had, the likes of Ronaldinho and Beckham, that they've had in their team. But I've always considered myself an Inter Milan fan. Now with this Lazio career mode, I'm really enjoying Lazio, but I also like Roma. So I like a bunch of different teams from Italy. But I'd say Inter Milan. And from Germany, Bayern Munich, just cause they're like the only German team I knew when I was a kid. And I've always just liked them. Then I have a bunch of comments about my hair. What product do you use to get your fabulous flow? How do I grow hair like yours, Sam? How majestic is your hair, and when was the last time you cut it? Now that was the only question I can actually answer. As far as product, I just use whatever's in the shower. As far as how you can grow hair like me, eat your crusts, because it makes your hair nice and curly. But when did I last cut it? In about a month and a bit. It'll be 2 years since I cut my hair. So, I'm nearly having my 2-year anniversary with my hair. You guys are fucking incredibly hilarious with your comments about my hair. I loved reading these comments, honestly. And looking through the comments, I think that's it. If your question didn't get answered, so there is a couple here that I did answer in my Q&A, which is how tall am I, what inspired me to do YouTube, and I think that's about it. There's a question here that says, why did you pick a Bradford career mode? Just because I did. I just picked Bradford because it was a random choice, and that's pretty much it. I think that is all the YouTube comments that were fresh questions that I didn't ask. So, yeah, if the question didn't get answered, and it's not in the Q&A Twitter, let me have it in the comment section below. But thank you so much for asking questions. You guys have no idea. I really love doing Q&A videos because some of you guys are hilarious. The questions you asked are insane. Just really good questions, and hopefully in the future we'll have even better questions, just more creative and a bit more in-depth questions, because I love letting you guys know about me. I love letting you guys know what's going on in my head, because I want you guys to know what my plans are and how I do things and the way I think, you know, because I want us to be on the same page. So that's why I like Q&As. It lets you guys know more about me, and it just gives a bit of interactivity and gets us on the same page, which I think is really cool. So thank you so much for asking your questions. Check out the Q&A of the Twitter questions if you didn't. There's a bunch of questions there that no one asked on YouTube, which is really good. So I like that there was a bit of diversity, but I hope you did enjoy this little two-part thing, and I tried to involve as many of you guys as possible. So I hope I answered every single person's question, whether it was from them or from someone else. I hope I did answer every single question. If you did enjoy this, make sure you leave a like. I'll see you guys in a video very soon. Keep it real.